Buckle up for another episode of Ghostfacers, the Supernatural Rewatch podcast. My name is Richard, and sitting shotgun as always is my brother in podcasting, Reed. What are you doing?
And sitting shotgun as always is my brother in podcasting, Reed. Richard looked at Reed, admiration in his eyes.
I
couldn't
did not feel
believe
that way.
that these intros were always the best part of the episode.
I don't know
well,
if that's
next
true.
to the lore segment, of
That's
course.
definitely not the way I'd
Richard wondered to himself if he could ever make international titles as interesting as the rest of the show.
Wait, hold on.
He believes that he's on the right path, but Reed knows that he'll get vindication. Maybe near the end of the episode,
Hold
someone
on,
will
hold on.
believe
No.
that the lore is kind of like the dean.
No.
And international titles is kinda like the
Hold
same.
on.
Huh?
You are not a prophet.
What?
Let's profit from this podcast, though.
But sing!
Ghostfacers! We're facing ghosts! We're others, we're not! We're ghosts! Ghostfacers! Stay in the kitchen when the kitchen gets hot! Ghostfacers! We're facing nightmare! We're facing dread! Ghostfacers! We're facing faceless! We're facing dead!
Welcome to Ghostfacers. Today we're discussing Season 4, Episode number 18. God, we're so close to the end.
We're almost there.
Yeah, not the title. The title for this episode is The Monster at the End of This Book.
Good Lord.
Holy shit, we're here.
Woo!
Yeah, we both separately message each other and we're like, this is this episode?
Yeah.
It's an exciting one.
It is.
But before we start talking about it, let's go into a review we got.
Hey, very nice.
Got lots of reviews from you all, and we really much appreciate it. So let's read the one that we have today, which is from Ozzy Burns via Apple Podcasts Australia. Oh,
Australia.
Australia. Good day, mate.
Hey, shrimp on the barbie.
Yes. That's the extent of my
yeah,
Australian. That's not a podcast.
You drongo.
This is a review.
That's not a review.
This
is a review.
Yeah.
Captain Boomerang.
Oh, there we go. That's all we have.
I can't do an Australian accent.
That was way better than I expected.
I can't say any more words because I'll ruin whatever I managed to
The
get
real
out there.
fun is trying to do the Kiwi versus the Australian.
Well, yeah, the Kiwi one, there's like a couple of like E's, like at is supposed to be like it.
yeah.
So like deck becomes dick.
Dick.
And then I's though become U's.
Yeah.
So like instead of saying like take your pill, you'd say like
Take your pull.
Take your pull.
Weird.
Like or like some shit like that. Like it's
We're experts on this
yeah.
from the Yukon.
We kind of know what's happening in the southern hemisphere.
If you know what I mean.
Ladies.
We kind of know.
Kind
We're even bragging. We're like, well, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
listen, we're not experts.
Yeah. Look, if you find somebody who's an expert, go with them. Ozzy Burns has the subject in their 5-star review as a fan's dream.
Ooh.
They go on to say, it's great to find a podcast that celebrates something you love with relentless positivity.
Hey.
That's what we want. That's what we're here for. And I mean,
Relentless.
we're it's Peacemaker for positivity.
Yeah.
I will make everyone feel negative until they feel positive.
Everyone will be positive no matter how many people I need to make feel bad to do it.
There it is.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Finding the good, if even the worst episodes, is important when you have over 300 plus to get through.
That's true.
The segments each episode are great, such as international titles. Hell yeah, baby! Explore the real world lore. It's fine. Behind the
Best
monsters
one.
in Dad's journal.
Obviously, best one. # Lore Horror Army.
And the behind-the-scenes notes about off-camera trivia from the episodes are little golden nuggets for Supernatural fans. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Easy.
Taste my nuggets.
No.
Yeah, you like the taste of my nuggets? Tell me.
You're working the drive-thru at McDonald's.
Do you want a 12-piece of my tasty nuggets?
I'll put my nuggets in your mouth.
Yeah, what kind of sauce do you want to throw down your
I
throat?
got hot mustard for you right here.
Shoot it down your throat.
Jesus Christ. What the fuck?
On top of
Why
that...
does anybody listen to us?
I don't know. On top of that, the two hosts just sound like a pair you'd love to hang out with from a distance. No.
Yeah. Yeah, legally.
Yeah, legally required to.
Yeah.
They bounce off each other like a quarter off Soulless Sam's abs.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh my God, we haven't even gotten there.
Oh, and we'll get there.
Oh.
And he'll get us
When
there.
we get there, we'll get there. There is a bottomless well of thirst for Dean/Jensen that somehow manages to not be creepy. Really?
I mean,
Time to crank it up, I guess.
A, thank you. B, might want to check out that threshold for creepy.
There's a few reviews I think you might need to listen to. But if there's room,
Listen, for every person that can't handle the horniness, some equally horny person jumps on.
yeah. Hell yeah. I give this podcast 5 hall passes with Dirtbag Dean out of 5.
Whoa.
Look, here's the thing. Dirtbag Dean is a bad guy, but also, like, I love the bad boy.
Easy.
Yeah.
Do you, though?
Yeah. Objectify me.
You want the bad boy to objectify you?
Yeah.
Right. All right.
I'm just a piece of meat for you.
What am I, a Rougarou?
Oh, what am I, just some really bright...
What am I, just like a regular human guy who maybe accidentally said that the look of raw beef was tasty and
Yeah.
has had to live with that from that point forward?
Yeah.
No?
Have I been a guy that had to call the authorities just to keep an eye on that? Who knows?
They were like, we actually don't really have a policy of wellness checks for raw meat consumption.
You don't have like a Rougarou policy?
Where am I even living?
I thought this was Canada.
Good Lord.
Time to start a Rougarou convoy.
Oh, no. We should have, like, Wendigo policies, though.
I mean, that's a legit thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could also be in a Wendigo. That's a cannibalistic thing, too.
I didn't say I was a cannibal. I just said I didn't say I liked the look of raw human meat.
That's the next step, though.
Yeah,
Once you
probably.
get a taste for it.
Well, I'm.
Put it in your mouth, swallow it, eat it. Like, what's the difference?
You're right.
Yeah.
Come over here.
Oh, no. Thank you, Ozzy Burns.
Oh, yeah, the review.
Thank you, Ozzy Burns.
Yeah. Thank you, Ozzy Benz.
Oh, my God, you're good at that.
I mean, maybe.
We're not. Neither of us are good. Now do South African.
I'd rather not.
Yeah, then do regular
I
African.
can't. Yeah, okay. That I can do.
Time to get into this episode. This episode aired April 2nd, 2009. Story by Julie Sieg and Nancy Weiner. Nothing funny about that?
I like that we both that was the most tense, like us locking eyes. Like, who's gonna do it?
I fucking dare you. You Nancy Weiner. What? I didn't say anything. I just said a name.
Jesus.
Teleplay by Julie Sieg. Directed by Mike Roll. Again, it was only 2 episodes ago. Mike Roll. Viewed by an estimated 3.27 million views.
Holding strong.
Very strong. Let's look at the promo.
Sure.
Ugh. I'm a pro-mo.
This revolutionary new device can remove
Ad.
10 times more earwax.
No.
Ew, this promo was confusing.
I actually haven't seen this.
With Supernatural, Thursdays 9, 8 Central. We're going to need all the copies of Supernatural you got.
That's the best promo they've ever done.
They've ever done.
They nailed it. It's so fun.
It's incredible.
They finally were like, this is a fun episode. This can be fun.
Also, there is nothing spooky in this episode that they could pull from.
No, what would be spooky?
No.
No, that was great. I kind of can't believe that. Oh my God. Do I like the promos now?
Hold on.
I like all of them now.
Well, let's not get too crazy.
Yep, if one's good, they're all good.
You know what? I take back everything I've said.
I'm so sorry, promos. Baby, come back.
I think there is another promo, though.
No, don't ruin this.
Yeah, there is.
No, don't ruin this.
Well, hold on. I don't know. Time to roll the dice. Put another one in the chamber. Let's figure it out.
Yeah. Spin that revolver. God damn it. Piece of shit. Absolute piece of fucking shit promo.
I spoke too soon.
God damn it. They did it again. They found a way.
I forgot that Lilith was in this. Of course, there's a spooky thing.
They
also,
did like a normal
spooky text, yeah.
at the end of this book. Ugh, motherfucker.
That's hilarious.
I feel so betrayed.
Sorry, what about how do you feel about them? Yeah. That's incredible.
I'd rather not talk about that.
All right, well, let's talk about the title through our international title section. So,
Smooth.
let's talk about the titles
In the title of the title section.
The titles where we talk
The
about
section's
the
title
titles,
is
which places around the
International
world.
Titles.
Some might say they were international.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the titles.
Yeah.
Nailed it. This episode's title is from the eponymous 1971 Sesame Street book, written by John Stone and illustrated by Michael Smolin. In the book, the Muppet character Grover.
Hey, that was pretty good.
It's like a mixed piggy, but like a little bit softer, to be honest.
yeah.
Grover learns that he will encounter a monster at the end of the book. He is terrified of the prospect and tries to prevent it, but finally learns that he himself is the monster at the end of the book. Likewise, in this episode, the Winchester brothers learned that they are the characters in a book series and they are powerless to alter the prophesized events of those books.
That's right.
It is also an implication that like Grover, Sam is the monster at the end of the story.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, like Grover.
I drink demon blood too. I also fucked Ruby.
Jesus Christ, Grover. What the fuck?
No, it was part of the ritual.
Wow.
I named this chicken Ruby.
Oh, no. No, that's Gonzo. Gonzo is the one that fucks chickens.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I mean, maybe. I get they're Muppets, but...
Also, Gonzo and Grover, like, the differences are pretty minute.
Yeah.
Grover is kind of Gonzo. Gonzo is kind of Grover.
Yeah, Gonzo,
Gonzo's
Gonzo has
just-
like a more normal voice than
Yes.
Grover does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, whacker whacker. Drink blood or drink not.
Who's Yoda?
But it's the same guy,
Yeah,
same voice.
sure.
So,
Same guy, Frank Oz.
yeah,
Yeah.
same guy.
Couldn't land it.
That's not the point. So, almost everybody got it.
Okay. Who didn't, though?
Can you take a guess?
Hungary?
That's right, baby.
Oh, you better not fucking disappoint me, Hungary. Maybe just like I'm going to say it's something like silly, like bookworm.
I wish.
Yeah.
I wish.
What was it?
The Prophet.
Oh.
Yep.
Captain Sisko?
Oh, whoa!
Tears of the Prophets?
Oh my god. Not good. Yeah, not super fun. I was like, the monster in this book, this seems like one that'll be
Yeah, the
wacky.
monster at the end of this book is like it's way more fun than Hungary kind of asleep at the wheel on that one.
Yeah. Everybody kind of just there was a tiny change, which is everybody just did the monster at the end of the book,
Oh, sure.
but like not enough to make it.
Yeah, we don't want people to know this is the book.
Yeah, they're like, this is a TV show. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is it for International Titles featured music from this episode. We have one song, which is Leave All This Behind by Sonny Ellis. TV Guide describes this as Sam and Dean discover that their lives as demon hunters are accurately detailed in a series of supernatural comic books. Not a comic book.
Not at all, yeah.
No.
That was also the description on Amazon, and I was like, that's not what happened.
It's not a comic book. They go to a comic book shop in the beginning of it.
That's what it
It's not a
is,
comic
yeah.
book. Not even a graphic novel. They track down the author, who explains that he sees vision of them and turns those images into comic books. Again, not comic books. Also, even when they go to his house, there are like sheets of comics that are getting printed out, but the thing that they read it's not a comic. It's not a comic book. They keep mixing comic books in this the whole time. It's not a comic book.
Yeah,
Well,
and at the house,
I think they initially maybe did make this into a comic, and they do for Supernatural, but
we'll get there. It is house. I'm pretty sure there's like a grifter poster.
There is a Jim Lee grifter.
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
There's another one too. We'll get to it, but I think maybe there was an intent.
Right.
And then maybe the network was just like, that doesn't make any sense. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But not a comic book. But before we start talking about the events that happen in this episode, why don't we open up Dad's journal and learn about some of the real world lore?
Yeah, let's see what the lore says about prophets.
Yeah, I knew it.
So the first rule of acquisition is human. Not prophets. Prophets.
Oh, I probably should change some of my notes.
Yeah, all my notes are like monetary.
Yeah. Look, I'm in the business world.
Yeah, I'm a real Gordon Gekko.
Of Yukon-based marketing.
Yeah, baby. Okay, so a prophet is someone in contact with a divine being who kind of acts as an intermediary and speaks on behalf of that deity. The word itself comes from Greek pro, meaning in advance, and phasin, which means to tell. So you're saying something in advance. You're talking about stuff that will happen.
Sure.
I mean, prophecy is obviously part of that word. In Hebrew, there's a word for spokesperson that is sometimes translated as prophet. So it's the same kind of idea, but that one doesn't seem to lean so much on the idea of like foretelling something. It's just that you're speaking on behalf.
Sure.
Usually, being a prophet is not like a casual connection. Like you're meant to impart teaching or wisdom or warning from the divine being to, your community or to the people. Although there are some examples in Christianity of prophets delivering like personal messages. Like they go to one person and go like, God said this. God said you look fucking ugly in that shirt.
Look,
I don't know if you know this, but God told me to tell you.
Everyone says you're crazy, even God.
God's gaslighting. It's God's lighting. Yeah, prophets are...
God asked, are you going to wear that tonight?
I guess you could do it that way if you want.
Yeah, God said that some people do it that way, I guess.
I mean, there's a strong argument to be made that religion is gaslighting.
Yes.
Prophets are part of the structure of many world religions. The ones that we probably think about the most in the Western world are like the Abrahamic ones. Like
you mean the right ones? Yeah.
I mean, impossible to defend position. Well, I mean, actually, that's not true. If you're saying all of them are the right ones, you're saying it's Islam, because Islam is like, yes, they're the ones that came before and ours.
Have I not made that clear?
Yeah. Interesting. There you go. The Abrahamic faith. So Judaism, Christianity, Islam, but also like Zoroastrianism, Greek polytheism, like all sorts of cultures around the world have versions of prophecy or prophets. The act of prophecy is sometimes depicted as being both difficult and dangerous. So you're either, maybe persecuted for being that or conveying a message from God.
Name one time that's happened.
Joan of Arc.
2 times.
I mean, Joan of Arc is not like canonically a prophet, but if you believe that she was getting visions and messages from God and then led the French against the English, like that's the definition of prophecy, right?
Your family's on the other side, right?
What do you mean?
Which side of that was your family, on the French or the English side?
I mean, like, I don't know, like, if...
No, take a stance.
I mean,
now.
France.
Oh.
Because I think even some of the Scottish side of my family, like on my mom's side, have, like, Norman French roots.
Oh, really?
So if you go back that far, like, it's probably mostly French.
Good. All right.
Yeah.
For now, you're all right.
I'm on God's side.
Yeah.
Remember when God sided with the French?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, because it's all gone so well.
Yeah.
where was I? Oh, right. Yeah. And also, it's funny. There's a lot of examples in like religious texts of like prophets aren't always required or made to convey messages from God like in words. It's not all Moses carrying tablets down and it's like, and here are the rules.
Yes.
Sometimes they have to like play charades.
What?
So Jeremiah had to build and wear a yoke to illustrate the future like subjugation of that nation by King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon.
Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah.
Also, to be fair, he was a bullfrog, so it's not his fault.
What?
Jeremiah.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was like, Nebuchadnezzar?
No, Jeremiah.
I forgot how the sentence started.
Yeah, that's all right.
Isaiah had to walk naked and barefoot for 3 years to illustrate coming captivity. And Ezekiel had to lie on his side for over a year and eat just small portions of food to illustrate that a siege was coming.
What?
Now, I don't know. I don't know if the idea is like the word of God is too powerful to be conveyed by words or something, and so the only way they could perceive it and illustrate it is like through improv. But yeah, very interesting that it's not all just like God said this would happen. There's a siege coming. They'd be like, nope, I'm gonna lie down for 3 years.
I also like the idea that it's just like, Jim, you've been jobless and on the couch playing like Diablo for
because of God.
Because something is happening. Figure it out.
Yeah. Please. I gave you all the clues.
You could have saved us.
You could have saved us.
Look, I don't want to do this, but if you can't figure out why I'm doing this, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think I'm being pretty clear.
That's why I ate 2 sleeves of Oreos yesterday.
Yes, and every day.
Because the siege is coming.
So there are many more prophets than just like the main one. You know, like it's beyond just Moses or Muhammad or Jesus.
There's some C-level celebrities here.
There's all sort. You know, like you think of like the people that wrote, quote unquote, wrote some of the Gospels of the Bible. Some of them are prophets. Other prophets are named and mentioned. You know? So in the Talmud, there are at least 24 mentioned. There are 25 mentioned in the Quran. And the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints believe that God is still speaking to people through prophets and prophecy, like that he's not done sending prophets.
Well, that's like Mormonism, right? It was like in like the 60s or something, a guy was like, God spoke to me and here it's these pages.
I mean, but Mormonism's got like that. There's more to that. Isn't the idea that like Jesus sailed to what would later be America?
Yes.
Like, isn't that like
yes.
part of that?
It's part of it.
I don't know enough about it, but that's part of it.
Yeah, because
right?
I think he like says he found books or something from Jesus or something in
right. That's
the
Joseph
woods.
Smith.
Yeah,
right?
Joseph Smith.
I found books in the woods. Hustler. Sorry, Mormons. They're not listening.
Yeah.
I think.
Let us know.
Yeah. If you're a Mormon, let us know. Also, I apologize.
I mean, I don't.
Yeah, there are lots of stories of visions and future seeing in other cultures as well, all around the world.
Yeah,
First Nations cultures, African cultures,
Yeah.
East Asia, all over. But I feel like if it's not a literal definition, there's a slight distinction between like being a prophet and then just acts of prophecy. If we just take it down to that Greek meaning of future telling, foretelling, seeing stuff that's happening in advance, then being a prophet, the difference seems to be like in how intentional the communication is. Like theoretically, maybe you could have people attuned to the spiritual or
angel
the energy
radio.
or the energies of the world or the angel radio, and maybe people get visions or see the future.
Sure.
But that might be different than like God or a God going, tell them this.
Yeah.
Can you pass this note for me? Psst. Yeah. Will you worship me? Yes, no, maybe.
Yeah. A flood is coming. Yes, no, maybe.
Wait, I get to decide?
Yeah. Well, no, you have to get the right decision.
Oh, God.
You're like, no. You're like, too bad.
That's really funny. Yeah, but that's profits, baby.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, and we'll never have another prophet show up. This is it.
Spoilers?
I didn't say.
Come on, man.
Everyone thinks that you're being...
No, stop God's-lighting me.
God said that you're being a bitch.
God said, if you even fucking show up to the dance.
Moses said that, Jesus said that, God said that everyone doesn't like you.
Insane telephone. That's so funny. Imagine being in church and it's just like a general congregation. It's like, and by the way, Steve, God said you're a piece of shit.
Yeah. God said he knows.
I'm a prophet, so
prove it. Let's get into today's episode.
Let's do it, yeah.
There's no then.
That's right. There's only now.
Oh my God. As told by God.
Yeah. There is no future. There is no past. Rent? Anybody?
Yeah. 500, 2,500.
6,000 prophets. That's too many.
No, that's the perfect amount of profit.
Quark?
That's right.
This episode's off the rails. we just went through Supernatural, Rent, Star Trek.
What, is that not a normal thing for a podcast?
I mean, I guess
do?
we do that a lot. Though.
That's a very us thing to do.
It's true.
All right. Well, the now is a bearded man is sleeping on his couch. Suddenly, he begins to dream about strange things. He sees a motel room sign, a girl, the Impala, Sam and Dean. Mm-hmm. While investigating a haunting, a comic book proprietor assumes that Sam and Dean are role-playing.
Yeah, so we see that kind of dream.
Yeah.
Then we cut to.
Yes. Yeah, Sam and Dean walk into a comic book shop.
They walk in, they're doing their like, I'm, Agent DeYoung, like they're doing their rock and roll thing.
Yeah,
or whatever.
DeYoung and Shaw, the name Sam and used at the comic book store, are members of the band.
And as they're asking their like clunky, like the cold
Sulfur?
spots, the guy's like, "Oh, I see what you're doing. You're coming in like,
oh, you're those guy. You're from the book.
You're
from the
LARPing.
Yeah. And they're like, what?
What? And they're like, you're obviously like, you're coming in asking about like hauntings and ghost stuff. You're using rock and roll fake IDs. Like you like the books, the Supernatural. I love this episode that immediately goes like, Supernatural exists in Supernatural.
It's instantly like, I feel like off step because like, I don't know how if you remember how you first felt about it, but I can only imagine how confusing it was the first time.
I think in this immediate moment, I was like, and then as the episode went on, I was like, oh, like the idea at first of being that winky, I think I was kind of like, yeah.
All right.
And then as the episode went on, I was like, oh, I see what's happening.
Yes.
That's crazy.
He shows them a series of books called Supernatural by Carver Edlund.
Yeah, I love that. Like the covers of these books kind of look like romancy.
Yes,
like the buff, like crazy chiseled faces and that like hair in the wind. Like it's got like real like Fabio vibes on the.
Well, yeah. So Chuck's pseudonym Carver Edlund is a combination of the names executive producer and co-producer Jeremy Carver and Ben Edlund.
Yes.
The cover art on the first Supernatural book shows an illustration of the brothers reimagined as male bodice-ripped romance novels.
Yes.
The cover's shirtless versions of Sam bears a strong resemblance to the romance novel model Fabio.
Yeah.
Also,
he's got the long hair and everything.
Have you seen the promo for that new movie where that's basically about like what if the like Fabio guy like wanted to actually be the hero of a book? It's what's her name from what are the I'm gonna have to work all the way around to get this. The movies where it's the pageant, she's a pageant but she's actually a police officer or like a FBI agent.
Sandra Bullock, Miss Congeniality.
Yes,
this is the movie that's coming out with Channing Tatum.
Yes, that's it. Yes. And Channing Tatum plays like Fabio, but he actually wants to be the super.
Yes, Yes, I have seen the I do want to see that.
Looks incredible.
Oh, yeah, we saw the trailer when we went to go see Jackass.
Yes. Looks incredible.
Insane trailer to play in front of Jackass, but
worked for me.
yeah.
But yes. Yeah, so also, do you remember in the promo for this episode? Did you see the part where they talk about the abs? And the abs, they actually make the abs like pulsate.
Yeah,
that's so funny. Yeah, but the boys are shocked to find out that these books are documenting their lives over the past 4 years.
And here's the crazy bit. Basically, we see it throughout the episode. There is like a book
for each episode, yeah.
Which means that over in like, but it ends at Dean going to hell. It's when the series ends. But that means that
the published books, at least.
That means that there are like, he wrote 60 books in 3 years.
Yes, which is an insane thing to have to.
I mean, it's possible because how the mechanics work.
Yeah.
That he could have started on them like a bit in advance, but like they seem to roughly happen kind of in step.
Yes.
So
they do a bit more research back at their motel, and they discover that there's even an online fandom. Because one of the things that the comic book shop says is like, this isn't like a super popular book series. Like, not a lot of people know about it. There's a small fan base for it.
He's like, but it's like a real like kind of cult following or whatever. Like, so much of this episode is like real life, huh? Wink.
It's so metatextual. Like they've been meta on this show before. This is so far beyond any show I've ever seen.
It's like Dean, when you cut to them in the motel, Dean has like been reading through some of the books, and he's like, they know everything. The racist truck, me having sex. I'm full frontal in here.
Yes.
And Sam says something else, and he goes like, yeah, and there's like some like there's like Dean girls and Sam girls and some Dean/Sam.
Well, he says there's slash fans.
Yeah. He goes, what does that mean? He goes like Dean/Sam. Like,
he goes, don't you know we're like brothers?
Together. And he's like, wait, like together? They know we're brothers, right? He goes, that doesn't seem to matter.
So,
which feels now on this rewatch targeted at you.
What? What? So slash fans, meaning fans that like to see their characters in an intimate, incestuous relationship. Slash is an actual genre of fan fiction that focuses on interpersonal attraction and sexual relationships between fictional characters of the same sex. While the characters are usually not engaged in such relationships in their original fictional universe, the Sam/Dean/fiction is commonly known in the supernatural fandom, as we've said in the past, as wincest.
Yeah. Yeah, slash fiction isn't like only incest things, right?
No.
Like there's like Kirk Spock slash fic and like stuff like that, right? Like,
it's typically like gay relationships, but yeah, it's fucking hilarious.
I love the show being like,
we know what you've been doing is what this show is doing. It's going like,
and we're disappointed.
We get it. We're pointing it out here, and we think it's gross.
Do you think we haven't seen your Tumblr?
Yes, which is this episode, I will say now, is the turning point for this show.
Yes,
the show has like winked at its audience before. This is the first time that it goes, look, we get it.
Yeah, we're in.
We get it. We're in this together. This is our handing the show off sort of to you to go, you're part of this.
Yeah.
But also, we're watching.
yeah. There is kind of that element to it, which is pretty funny.
Been watching, and we've got a few things to say.
We have notes.
Yes. So they now want to track down the book series publisher because all they have is a fake name.
Yeah.
So they can't use that. So they decide that they're going to go to the book series publisher to hopefully get the name. And she laments that Supernatural series hasn't sold well, complaining that what people want now is stuff like Dr. Sexy MD.
Yeah, which is like, is that a riff on Grey's Anatomy?
100% it is.
Because are they up against each other like in the time slot?
Yes.
Is that what? Yeah.
So, and this is also, spoiler for future episodes, this is not the first time we hear about Dr. Sexy MD.
That's true.
It does come back.
That's true.
This is a long-running joke for this thing.
Yeah.
It's
Dr. Sexy MD, yeah.
Very funny. So, I love that. The publisher, Sarah Siege, is a combination of supervising producer Sarah Gamble and teleplay story writer Julie Siege. Which is
and then she is kind of like the guys. The pretense of them talking to this publisher is like, we want to write like a spotlight and on this kind of underloved series, and she's like, she kind of goes like, she has this very like defensive thing, which I think is also a very intuitive kind of like fandom thing of like, how do I know you're not just going to make fun of it?
Yes.
And so she's like, you're not real fans. And then she starts quizzing them like, what is this day? Like, it goes like, that's my Sam's birthday, or like, what is the model of the car? What are Dean's favorite songs? And then she goes, as soon as they answer it, the like light in her eyes goes to like, am I going to fuck these guys?
Yes.
Which just like, it's funny, but also kind of like out of nowhere.
So when she quizzes the boys about their...
She's like, oh my God, these guys have read these books.
And they're hot.
You're
yeah.
like, I'm going to fuck these guys.
Yes. When she quizzes the boys as to their fandom of the novels, thereby establishing not only Sam and Dean's birthdays, which we hadn't really gotten up until now, and with help of other episodes, ages, and the date of the fire. So we now know Dean was born January 24th, 1979. He'd said he was 4 when he had carried out Sam from the burning house. Sam's was May 2nd, 1983, since the series began in 2005, with a few episodes always starting with a 22 years later flashback and Azazel's yellow eyes. He said he'd come for Sam on the night he turned 6 months old. He puts the night on the fire and Mary's death then at November 2nd, 1983.
I mean, yes, but I think we already...
But this is the first time we sort of get all of this together.
We got more details, but I think we already had their ages established, right? Yeah.
But now, since she wants to fuck these guys, she then is very quick to give up the
then
name.
like he's like, they're like,
can
you tell us like who the like we know it's a pseudonym, like who is it? She's like, I really can't. They're like, we're real fans, and Sam shows his demon possession tattoo, and Dean like reluctantly shows it too, and then she drops trow and turns around and goes, I've got one too.
And Dean even like, it's funny because I don't know if this is necessarily Dean's type, but the fact that she has a tramp stamp, he's just like, all right. Like he's just like, I mean, I do it. Yeah. Like,
yeah. Do you think that means that Sam couldn't have sex with her because he's been drinking demon blood and he couldn't enter?
Do you feel good about what you just did?
No, but it had to be said.
I had no choice.
I was compelled. I don't have a possession tattoo.
I just think he probably... All right, this is going to be bad.
No.
He probably couldn't put his demon seed in her.
Jesus. Good Lord. What I said was kind of funny. That was tasteless, what you just did.
No, but it's more of... There is a taste.
Unless he eats pineapple.
Yeah, I was going God damn it! Got there first. Yeah, demon seed actually kind of tastes like grapefruit. It's weird.
Oh,
very acidic.
So at any rate, all this happens, but they do get the name of the
Carver
guy.
Edlund is Chuck Shirley.
His name is Chuck Shirley.
Chuck is writing his next book. We now cut to him, and he hears a knocking at the door, goes to answer.
And he like looks like shit. His house is a mess. He's in a bathrobe. He hasn't shaved. He's like... There's like booze and stuff all over the
he's
house.
Clearly like there's like vibes of like the artist who's like,
well, like he's kind of like a recluse.
Yes.
And even the publisher says like it's like J.D. Salinger.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
This is like kind of like maybe
Disturbed
overstating how like artful he is, but
very much so.
Yeah.
He answers the door where he meets the brothers. They introduce themselves as Sam and Dean, and Chuck immediately shuts the door on them, thinking that they were just fans who needed a life.
Yeah, and he's like, listen, I appreciate that you guys like this, but like do yourselves a favor, get a life.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you're writing our lives. And he's like, I'm not.
The Winchesters then barge in and demand how Chuck knows about their lives, eventually convincing him who they were when they tell him their last names, something that he had never told anyone.
Yeah, so at first they show the car.
Yes, the guns.
All the guns in that. And he still kind of goes like, this isn't real? Like proof. It's just like, you guys really are like my biggest fans.
Yeah.
And then when they say the Winchester thing, he goes like, I never told anyone their last names.
That's not even written down.
That's not even written down. Because... And I think there's another thing about like, do you know about the angels and stuff?
Yeah.
And he goes like, how do you know that? Those books never came out.
Yeah.
Because he's still been writing.
Yeah.
Even though the books ended at Dean going to hell. But that thing with the Winchester, I was like, I guess they need a thing where it's like incontrovertible to him as Chuck that like these guys are the real deal. But then you think about like, how did he write
all of that stuff?
60 novels without their last name?
But here's
you know
the
what
thing.
I mean? Like, no one is like, oh, you like. So instead of being like, oh, you Winchester boys, they just go like, oh, you boys.
But here's
love
the
to-"
thing. What's the last name of the Malcolm in the Middle family?
Middle.
No, that's the thing. They say it in the first episode, never again.
Huh.
Yeah.
At any rate, I just thought that was kind of like funny and odd or whatever. But we do also get a sense, like, as they start talking about like he gets visions and he just writes them and he doesn't know where it comes from, blah blah blah, and he's like, oh my God, like I must be God, and they're like, we just think you're a psychic, man. Like,
Yeah.
But as that's happening, he does say like he doesn't put everything in.
No. But there is a moment right before he really starts giving information where he keeps asking if this is a misery thing, which I love. If anybody doesn't know, this refers to the Stephen King book and later movie of the same name, where a writer's biggest fan kidnaps him and restrains him in her house and forces him to write another book to finish his series.
That's right.
Great book.
Yeah, a crazy movie.
Yeah. Oh God. I mean, sure, her performance in that. Holy shit.
Kathy Bates,
Terrifying. When
James
fucking,
Caan,
the hammer, and
Yeah.
the fucking like. Oh God. Yeah. Very, very, very good. A couple notes about Chuck here. One of the posters in Chuck's house is from the cover of the 3rd issue of Supernatural Origins comic books,
Right.
which chronicle the story of John Winchester's early days on the road with Sam and Dean. Another poster, as we talked about earlier, by the staircase, is of the Grifter comic book series by Jim Lee.
Yeah.
And then
Wildstorm.
yes. But one of my favorite moments is when he starts understanding what had really happened and like that he has been writing it and he starts feeling really guilty. He asked the brothers if they really had to live through bugs and even Ghost Ship.
It's so funny. He's like, I feel so bad. All the stuff I put you through, the death, the blah blah blah. You guys also, it's bad enough I made you guys like suffer that way, but you had to live with bad writing, and it's like, specifically Bugs and Ghost Ship. I was like,
this is the first time that I've ever seen writers of a TV show put themselves in a show. Like this is the position of Chuck here, is that he is the conduit for the writers.
yes, yeah.
So this is the chance for the writers to go, and we all know.
We know.
We also know how much like self-loathing Kripke has.
Yes, yeah.
And so this is Kripke going like, I'm so sorry, I know.
Yeah, it is a really funny moment. And like you said earlier, like this is such a turning point for the show, where the show, we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
This show, more than most, has like a real dialogue with its fan base.
Perfect timing too with the internet, the rise of the internet during this time.
But this is like this is really a moment where it's like we put this out,
yeah.
you responded,
Yeah.
we're responding back.
Yes.
This is an actual conversation,
Yes.
between us and
the
you,
writers and you,
which
like,
is really kind of fun. It becomes one of the most fun things about Supernatural.
it's a thing I've never seen a show ever do and have do before or since.
And it also feels like a thing this show wouldn't do.
Yes.
You know, like when you think of like the origins, of it,
Yes.
when you think of first season and what the setup of the show was and all
Does
that kind of
not
stuff.
seem like the show would go here.
It doesn't feel like the show would go here, and this show takes such like a left turn into like meta territory.
But because of the whole heaven and angels thing, it works.
it does, and they find the right way to blend all of these things together. But I think it's one of those pieces. Certainly for me, who hadn't watched the show, and then you made me, and then I was like, oh fuck.
Yes.
But also for like other people, they bomb in and they go like, oh shit, like this show is like, it's not just like sexy
No.
ghost hunter. It's
No.
like there's like a weird meta narrative. Like they're playing with like the form of storytelling.
It's
Weirdly, it's got more going on than I think people gave it credit for.
they are daredevil writers.
Yeah.
And the fact that the amount of fucking shark jumping that this
Next
show
week's
does-
episode is called Jump the Shark.
I insane. This is like what a fucking shark jump this
Yeah.
is. Like the fact that all right, anyways, we're in the middle of it.
Yeah, sorry.
So when Chuck says his latest book is a little weird, and they ask how weird, and he says Vonnegut weird. So this is a reference to
But Dean goes like Slaughterhouse-Five Vonnegut.
yes.
And Sam looks at Dean like, you've read Kurt
Yeah,
Vonnegut?
it's so funny. Yeah, so this is a reference to the author Kurt Vonnegut, who wrote several famous books that were considered weird by some.
Yeah.
Probably his best known novel is Slaughterhouse-Five,
Yeah.
which there's like a graphic novel at Kohl's right now for Slaughterhouse-Five. It's at the bottom of the shelf. Yeah, I don't know.
Weird.
When Chuck says his book is Kilgore Trout weird, he's referring to the fictional character that appears in several Vonnegut's novels. Trout was an author, and many considered him an alter ego of Vonnegut. So in a way, Vonnegut included himself in his novels, just like Chuck has included himself in the supernatural books.
Yes.
So, which it basically comes back to, it's like you showing up at my house was a thing that he was writing as they showed up at his house.
Right.
The boys then take the manuscript of one of the most recent book and head to the laundromat because it's the story that they're currently in.
Right.
Where Dean starts reading what they are currently doing.
Yeah, it's funny. He's like, Sam turns away, pensive and broody, and like, camera's on Sam doing his pensive, broody face. Dean has some comment about like, I mean, your back's to me, but those look like your pensive and broody shoulders. And he goes, "You just thought I was a dick," and Sam's like, "God damn it!" He's like, he's a good writer though.
Yeah.
He's accurate.
So funny.
Yeah.
So we then cut to Chuck, who is having a vision at home. And then he goes to present that to the boys. His latest vision.
It's a sexy vision.
Yes, that's right. Ooh. His latest vision was that revealed that Lilith will visit Sam.
Yeah.
And they will have a night of fiery, demonic passion.
They'll bone down.
Yes.
I'm not a writer.
Yes, you are.
Oh, no.
But I love because there's a moment where Sam, like, they then laugh at fiery demonic passion, and him in the background goes, "Why? It's the first draft."
yeah.
Like the wording of it is the thing that that he thinks they're getting stuck on.
Yeah.
So I
know why, but Sam is so indignant. Like, I would never do that, and Dean's kind of like,
you're fucking drinking. I mean, Dean doesn't know, but like you're drinking demon
blood.
But
he does know that Sam fucked Ruby.
Yes.
He's like, oh, who would ever have sex with a demon?
I know. Like, doth protest too much, Sam.
Yeah.
So the boys decide
Sam's got a type
that they need to go against what's happening. Right. If the book says something, let's do something else.
Yeah, if it says go right, we'll go left.
Yeah. So they decide they're going to try to head out of town,
which almost feels like similar to like the mystery spot thing.
Very.
Like,
there's a lot.
I'll
of
just
that.
make a different decision.
Yes.
And they kind of encounter the same thing where it's like even when they make a decision, something like bends them back to what was happening.
They try to head out of town. On their way, they describe sort of a series of ridiculous events that are apparently supposed to occur as they're driving in the
like a minivan accident. Dean with like flower band-aids on his face, like a few things
that are hard to believe, and Dean's like, well, maybe some of the like details are wrong.
And then they can't get out of town because the only bridge in or out of town has washed out or something like that, and there's no way out,
so they head to a diner. The diner Dean and Sam eat at is called Kripke's Hollow Diner, named obviously for the series creator, Eric Kripke. At the diner, Kripke's Hollow, there is a plastic stand advertising their famous Buckeyes for $4.99 a box. This is a nod to the series creator, who is from Ohio, also known as the Buckeye State.
Yeah.
Buckeyes are sweetened peanut butter balls dipped in chocolate.
Yeah.
Have you had one?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds delicious. They are popular in Ohio and neighboring states. They actually look a lot like the nut of the Buckeye tree, which is where they get their name. I did not.
Yeah, how much do they look like that tree's nut?
Tell me, how much?
I've gobbled a few.
You disgust me. God says you're disgusting.
God told me to tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're sitting at the thing and they're talking about how we just have to make like opposite decisions, and Sam goes, so no bacon cheeseburger for you. Dean's like, when Dean goes to order, he's like, I'll get a veggie tofu burger.
I like he can't not get a burger though.
Yeah, I'm obviously getting a burger.
Yeah.
Sam orders a Cobb salad, which is like, come on, Sam. Ugh.
What a Sam.
I mean, he would have just ordered that anyway. That's probably in the book. He's not even making it.
No.
Sam is a Cobb salad man.
Yes. Yeah. He should
come at me.
Yeah. What they should have done is order what they normally do and then switch the food.
Yeah, right. Because what ends up happening is The food arrives. Dean takes a bite. He's like, "Oh my god, tofu's amazing!" And then the waitress comes back and goes, "I'm so sorry, I accidentally gave you the cheeseburger." And they're like, "Oh fuck."
I also do like that their way to describe that the burger is supposed to be really good is that it's Oprah's friend is recommended this burger as the best, and
Oh yeah.
because it's Gail, I think that's the name of Oprah's best friend.
Oh right.
But it's like not Oprah, like
Yeah, it's not an Oprah's pick.
No.
Gail's pick.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
so funny. But yes, so yeah, he's still that's the one thing I'm like, just switch the food, like.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, Dean's not eating a Cobb salad.
No, that's true. Rather eat a.
I'd rather all of this come true than eat a Cobb salad.
I'd like to give him a cock salad.
Come on, man. You can't put a dick in salad.
I mean,
That's my objection.
you could toss a salad.
Yikes.
So
Not if the salad has a anti-demon possession tattoo on it.
at least Sam couldn't. While Sam seems keen to confront Lilith, because they're basically like, look, we now know where she's gonna be.
Sam's argument is like,
This is the first time
we have
know.
this in advance. You know, like
Let's use this
like
to our benefit.
Chuck is still getting visions. We
Yeah.
we don't quite have the how it plays out yet, but like we know where she's going to be. Like we can plan for this.
And Dean's like, we are not prepared to combat. Like,
And also like
Lilith.
we couldn't even change our burger.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
And they should be avoiding her by doing the opposite of everything Chuck has foreseen. Dean suggests that they go off book to prevent the events in the written story from taking place. Going off script is a term actors use in the meeting. They're deviating from the written script. Going off book is a tongue-in-cheek reference to Sam and Dean trying to deviate from Chuck's book.
I mean, although they mean different things like in the business.
Yeah, I know.
Off script means you're doing something that wasn't intended. Off book just means you're prepared and your lines are memorized.
Sure.
Just-
Yes.
If you're off book, it means you're literally not holding the script in your hand.
Sure. I could never do that. While hiding out in a motel room surrounded by hex bags to hide from Lilith,
Yeah.
Sam heads to see Chuck and asks if he knows about him drinking demon blood.
Yeah, and this is where Chuck says, like, I didn't put that in the book because I thought it would make you look unsympathetic.
And he's like, what? He gets like legit defensive. Like that's the first time I've ever seen Jared
Yeah.
in Sam.
Oh, right.
Because that's kind of who Jared is.
Certainly
I think.
his, like, Twitter
Yes.
Twitter response kind of mechanism sort of.
And the like behind the scenes stuff that
Yeah.
I've heard about Jared with like starting bar fights and stuff like that
Yeah.
seems like what the fuck did you say? Like
yeah, there's a little bit of that in there. It's it's an interesting moment too because the idea that like Chuck sees everything. He
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily put it all in the books. He didn't put like the last name in. He didn't put in the stuff about demon blood or whatever. But it's also, I think, their way of being like, and that way Dean also can't find out until we
Yes.
want him to, like in the
Yes.
show.
yes, exactly. So yeah, he confronts him about it, and yeah, he's just
He goes like, you know it's wrong, right?
it's the first time that like he can't like the someone who's not his family is like
Yeah.
looking at this and being like, look, I know like the angels have told you this is bad.
Yeah.
Your brother says this is bad. Like, and I know that you know this is bad because like it's in my mind.
Yeah,
like,
I know how you feel. Like you
Yeah.
feel cagey
yes.
about it.
Like you know who this is.
Sam's like rationalization is like, Dean's always looked out for me. I don't trust Dean to be strong enough to actually do what the angels need him to do. I will do whatever it takes to me to save Dean.
But there's a-
and make sure that the apocalypse doesn't happen.
But there's a really great moment here that I actually like Jared's acting.
Yeah.
Which is that he goes like, it seems like it's all on my shoulder. And then he looks at Chuck and he's like, is it all on my shoulders? And,
Yeah.
and Chuck's like, it seems like it's heading
That's
that
where
way.
the story seems to be going.
Yeah. Which I love.
You're right. It's a great moment. Yeah, Jared does a really good job in this scene. I would
Because he
say in
legitimately
general.
seems like worried, upset, scared, like
And I think it's nice too for like how like in real life sometimes it's easier to tell a stranger
yeah.
deep truths about yourself than someone very close to you or like a family member or something. And I think it's nice to have Chuck in there where he's like there is no pretense because he's like, I know Chuck knows it all already anyway.
Yeah, there's no
So I can kind of be a little bit like once he gets over the initial like what the fuck do you mean?
it's like writing in a diary. Yeah.
Yeah, essentially, it's like that. There's like an actual sort of like emotional catharsis, a little bit of like, can I voice this fear of mine, sort of thing.
It's like when you're talking to somebody and they say the thing that you were too worried about to say about yourself, and then you're like, "Oh, thank God." Okay, so I feel the same way.
yeah.
So meanwhile, Dean is trying to avoid doing what Chuck has foretold because he's basically like, "Okay, the book." This is also a thing I don't really love because they're in the motel before they both sort of head out, and Dean says, "So." I've been told that I'm supposed to drive around all day, so I'm going to go park the car. And I'm just like, you're at a motel. There's going to be a parking spot outside of your motel room. Why would you go take it somewhere else?
Why get in the car?
Yeah. That you're literally starting the events from happening. I don't really love that. But Dean's trying to avoid what Chuck foretold, but the events keep coming to pass whatever he does.
He gets hit by a minivan.
Yeah, he wakes up and the Impala windows are smashed. He's got the Band-Aid, the like flowery Band-Aids
because the woman who hit him, her daughter is like in a doctor phase or whatever. Puts like
surprised Dean didn't go, "Are you in a doctor phase?"
Yikes.
How about mommy? Is mommy in a doctor phase too?
Oh God.
But yeah, because one of the things that was told is he's gonna have this flowery Band-Aid, but he's also there's gonna be trash bags over the windows of the Impala.
Yeah, and he's like, "What?" And then the next shot is him like because the window's smashed.
Yes,
he's driving. He's got a tarp.
Yeah,
flapping in the back.
So funny. So Dean then heads to Chuck and accuses him of withholding information, and is about to attack him because he's just like, "You knew I was going to come here about this. Like, you knew that was going to happen regardless. You knew that we were going to know that we were going to try to do that.
Yeah.
And, like, all of that is not stuff that's in this manuscript.
Yeah.
And he's just like, why didn't you write this down? Why didn't you tell us? And he's like, it seems crazy to like one thing is putting yourself on the book. Another thing is to write that I'm a prophet and he's
well,
like,
that we don't.
No, that's in this,
right?
Because he's just.
But
like,
do we find this out? Like Cass shows up.
Cass shows up
scene.
right here.
Yeah.
And because Cass shows up and he's like, "Don't touch him. He's a prophet of the Lord."
Yeah, because Cass is the one that drops that bomb.
Yes,
and it's not just a form of being psychic or something.
Yes.
Like. He is a prophet of the Lord, and he's like one day this will be called the Gospel of Winchester. He's like holding these like shitty books.
And Chuck's just like, what?
Yeah, and
that's when Dean goes like, why didn't you write that down then? If you knew, because you knew that, right? And he's like, yeah, I knew that. He's like, well, why didn't you say that? And he's just like, because that sounds crazy. It's just like,
yeah.
Like what of a douchebag
which is such
move.
a funny thing to like say as the episode is like, and he's a prophet of the Lord.
Yeah,
we know this is going to weird territory here.
What he says is, he's like, it's M. Night level douchiness,
which is very funny.
Which is M. Night Shyamalan, who regularly appears in his own movies.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a thing that a lot, like even like Scorsese does. I think like.
Listen, you're making a movie. You can cameo however you want.
Exactly.
That's my opinion on it.
Yeah. Tarantino does it. Like
movies are fun. Do it.
Yeah. Dean asks how they can stop the Sam and Lilith makeout part.
Yeah. It's Cass doesn't do too much else in this. Chuck is just like, oh my God, you must be Castiel.
Well, yeah, because he's basically says that like. Well, yeah, so there's a little bit before that because basically Chuck basically says that he's a prophet of the Lord who's protected by an angel and that his books will one day be known as the Winchester Gospels. Dean asks how they can stop the makeout part, but Castiel says that what a prophet has written will come to pass no matter what.
Yeah.
So Dean returns to the motel and finds that Sam has burned the hex bags so that Lilith will find him.
Yeah. Yeah, and Dean is like, "Oh, you idiot!" And
he leaves.
Changes
his mind, and storms into the parking lot, desperate. Dean starts to pray.
Dean prays.
Castiel. Oh God! I mean, here's a scene. Castiel.
Just like a prayer, take me there.
This is, I mean, talking about slash fiction.
Oh yeah.
Castiel shows up and is just like, "Good job praying.
Yeah,
get on your knees.
Prayer is a sign of faith.
Yeah,
This is good, Dean.
Yeah, you've been a good boy, Dean.
Yeah. Open wide. It's time for the sacrament.
Time for the body of Cass.
Oh, my God.
This marks the very first time that...
Consume of my flesh.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, God.
Yeah.
I think, that was the part of the episode where I kind of, like, fell asleep a little bit. And
I had to take a break.
Woke up, had like 7 cold showers.
This marks the first time that Dean has ever prayed in the show.
Yeah.
Dean pleads with Castiel to help him stop. He's like, please help me. I'll do anything.
And Cass is like, I can't. Like, I cannot. No. And Dean is like, well, then when you fucking need me, I won't be there or whatever. And he starts to walk away, and Cass kind of has this little, like, you can see that it's kind of like Cass wants to help. Like, Misha's acting is so good in general, but like, there's so much like, Dean, I wish I
would give you anything.
I like, there's so much of that.
I know.
I totally.
You can see it in hindsight so much.
I'm just like, oh, Destiel, baby.
Yeah. You could see the pleading in it. He's begging for it.
Cass finds a little loophole. He goes, Dean, I need you to understand why I can't intercede. Prophets are protected by
intercede.
Intercede. No, he goes, prophets are so important. They're protected by archangels.
The most powerful
and terrifying weapon of heaven.
Yeah.
He goes, if anything were to threaten,
like, say, the prophet was, I don't know, around a demon like Lilith.
If anything were to threaten the safety of a prophet, wink, wink, an archangel would be forced to, wink, wink, appear and bring down holy wrath, wink, wink. And Dean goes, thank you, Cass.
He's like, if you were to do anything right now, I would.
I just need you to understand why I can't help. Yeah.
But if you were to open the door, maybe we could make this happen.
Let the right one in, Dean.
Oh my God, that's a vampire.
Yeah. I mean, kind of.
Yeah, sort of works.
Technically, how angels work too. We haven't gotten there yet.
Dean realizes by putting Chuck in the same room with Lilith, the archangel will appear and destroy the threat. He thanks Castiel for the help, and the angel wishes him luck. Dean heads to Chuck's house, where he tells him that he needs to go to the hotel where Lilith
and Chuck is like, what are you doing here? This isn't in the book.
Yeah. He's like...
Which, I'm not sure how I feel about that moment.
Because you think it should have still been in the book?
Yeah. It's prophecy, right?
Yeah, but this is Castiel going sort of off prophecy. He's leading to a direction that Dean can go out.
I guess it's just one of those things where it's like, it kind of feels like it either shouldn't be, maybe should be a thing not yet revealed to Chuck or something. Sure. But like the idea that like, wait, there's like a gap in God's plan is a little funny.
Sure, I guess, but like that's the whole thing with like, this is Castiel sort of starting to choose free will.
Totally. So
in a very cute, sly sort of way.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'll never tell.
Yes. I didn't say anything. I just told him facts.
It's just me, Castiel.
But
Dean, allow me to intercede.
Open wide. So he eventually convinces. He's like, you need to do something. Like you have no choice. And then he goes, no. And
and he's like, if I'm and Dean's like, then I'll just fucking shoot you in the head. And he's like, I thought you said an archangel would protect me. And Dean's like, let's see who's the quicker draw.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, that's like an 11 on the hot overconfidence scale. Where it's like, Dean's like, I'm gonna out quick draw an angel.
An archangel.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot you faster than I can be smote.
Yes.
That's Stones of Steel.
100%.
That moment kind of did it for me. I was like, oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Quick draw me. Chuck refuses.
Quick draw Majah.
So, yeah, Chuck smugly says that, Dean can't do anything about it. And Dean, needless to say, Chuck agrees.
Yeah.
Back at the motel, Sam is found by Lilith, who appears in the form of a blonde woman.
And he tries to, she goes, where's the knife? And he goes, it's on the bedside table. And she's like, rug, demon trap.
Yeah.
She like fucks all that up. She goes, you're going to have to try harder than that. And he goes, how about this? And then like his power doesn't work.
Yeah, it's like a light breeze to her.
Yeah. And then he's like, so how come you aren't throwing me around? And I'm like, oh. And she goes, that's not how it works right now. And she basically offers him a deal and says, I will stop making the apocalypse happen because I've realized I'm not going to survive this.
Yes.
I will stop the whole thing. All you have to do is die.
Yeah. Well, you and your brother need to die.
And your brother need to die, and I'll stop, and everyone is saved.
Yeah.
And he goes like, all right.
Yeah.
And she goes, making a deal with me takes more than a kiss. And we start seeing the scene that was playing out before with
Here's the thing that I don't know how I
in
feel
Chuck's
about
vision.
it.
Yeah.
She says, "Don't worry, the dental hygienist in here
Super
is
fucked
begging
up.
for it."
Super fucked up.
Yeah, because
Because A, no way that's true. B, thank you, show, for reminding us.
I know.
Like, not only do Sam and Dean have to die theoretically to save the
Yes.
world and make this deal happen,
He
but
also
Sam
has to rape
also
this girl.
yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, because
Like the whole that conceit always would have been true, but why remind us?
well, because here's the thing: like, we know that they can like.
I don't know. Maybe we'd be complaining if they didn't remind us, but like, there's I don't know. Something made it. I was just like, oh my god, everything about this.
I know,
because
because I know. I think I know what they were trying to do.
yes.
Which is like show there is consent, sort of.
Well, I mean maybe yeah, but
And
we
demons
have to
don't-
take a demon's word for it though too.
Yeah, though demons tend to not lie very often, as much as they just like give you the worst possible options.
Yeah,
But
I don't know.
it's bad.
I think you're right that they were like, if we say this, it's fine.
It's a
And-
demon-y way of saying consent.
and then it actually just reminds you that that's not what's happening.
Yeah, I
But
know.
so they lie down on the bed, and but then Sam goes for the knife, tries to get Lilith.
Yes.
She's like, "Really? You thought that was gonna work?" And then Dean barges in with Chuck,
Yes.
and immediately windows and doors
Yeah.
shaking, blinding light outside, and Dean goes like, "There's an archangel on the way."
Well, I love when he jumps in and literally he just goes, "I'm the prophet Chuck."
Yeah, yeah, and she's like, "You got to be kidding me."
Yeah, and Dean says, "Oh, it's no joke." Chuck here's got an archangel on his shoulder. The motel continues to shake. Bright white light appears. The ceiling starts to crumble, and Dean tells her she's got about 10 seconds from becoming a piece of charcoal. Lilith weighs her options as pieces of the ceiling continue to fall. Quickly deciding it's not worth it, she expels from the woman's body.
Yeah.
The woman passes out after Lilith leaves the body, and the light fades to later.
I just want to talk about just the smoke leaves.
Yes.
The body drops.
Yes.
And then we do like 2 or 3 intercuts of the guys looking at each other,
Yes.
looking at the body, cut back to the body. Is it going to wake up? Cut back. And I'm like, why?
What? Yeah. What?
Either just immediately go like, she was dead already,
Yes.
or go like, she actually wakes up and we see it. Because we never see it, but there's like 3 like kind of cuts back.
I know.
And I'm like, and?
Because I'm like,
And?
if she was dead the whole time, great. That means that maybe it wasn't a rape potentially.
Great.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm trying my best here. So, yeah, it was a weird moment.
Yes.
I clocked it as a weird moment.
It's like the one big clunky piece of otherwise like a crazy, intricate, and interesting episode.
It feels like a thing where they were like, it was all tied up, and then somebody was like, this feels rapey, and they're like, well, we'll put in this line.
What if we say it's not?
Yeah.
And then they go like, I don't know.
Yeah, and then it's like, well, what happens when she leaves her body? Is she going to be like freaking out? And they're like, well, we'll cut around and figure it out. And then they were just like, maybe she did wake up, and they're like, this is worse.
Yeah. I think what we're getting at is a lot of this scene is like lingering on things we would not have thought about if they didn't linger on them.
I know.
Yeah.
And here's the problem is that they're like, sex with demons seems hot, but there's this real big problem with it.
Yeah.
And it seems like this season they were trying to figure
But also
it out.
just this thing at the end where it's like, so is she dead or
Yeah.
You'd think like if
But also
I don't know.
it kind of doesn't matter
I
like to the story.
Yes,
like
no, it doesn't at all. But that's even weirder than
that
we're putting this
lingering.
weird like shot emphasis on.
Very weird. Later, Sam and Dean talk about the events. Sam never even considered the deal, convinced she would always find a way out of it.
Totally.
And then they would just be dead.
Yeah.
Dean is unnerved at this, knowing demons never break deals, indicating he himself would have taken it to stop the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Sam darkly promises he will kill Lilith when while Dean is left privately fearing Sam would choose revenge over self-sacrifice.
Oh yeah, because I mean, Sam is just like, oh, we'll kill Lilith. She's right about one thing. She won't survive this. I'll make sure she doesn't survive. It's kind of like, all right, buddy. Can you go back to ordering Cobb salads?
Yeah, they paint a weird thing in the end of this episode where it seems like they're kind of saying he should have taken the deal, which, like, I don't know.
I mean, I think Sam's right. Just Lilith might have kept the bargain, but that doesn't mean like
it's over.
Some other demon would, you know what I mean? Like that doesn't mean it's
they're already
done.
broken how many seals? Like, just because she's gone doesn't like.
I think Sam's. I mean, Sam was right in the moment there, but Sam is also like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking kill her, and it's like, and that's still creepy and like, oh fuck, the demon blood, you know, like that's still there. And
it is a weird, like they still don't really. The story feels like it's trying to say Sam is wrong and Dean is right, but I don't think that's right. But also, Sam's not right in the. Nobody's right here.
Yeah, it's messy.
So, following the confrontation with Lilith, Zachariah appears to Chuck after he has another vision.
And he's like, I'm Zachariah. You know me from your books.
Yes. While it is not revealed what Chuck saw, he is panicked and wants to warn Sam and Dean. But Zachariah tells him.
Zachariah is like, have you seen it? And he's like, is it true? Like, is that gonna? And
are those things gonna happen?
Like, hey, you saw it, bud.
Yeah. Has anything else been wrong?
You're the prophet. And then he's like, I got to tell Sam and Dean. He goes, it's best if people don't know too much. And then he's like, well, I'm just gonna kill myself. Then he's like, no, we'll just bring you back. Like Zachariah's being a real fucking dick.
He's being a real bitch about it.
And we're like, well, what is it?
And Chuck says, well, what does he do? And Zachariah replies, we'll do what you always do. Right.
Yeah.
That's the end of the episode.
It's, oh man.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
Woo, baby. Thoughts?
What a fucking episode. I mean, here's the thing. After seeing all of the series multiple times and the ending of it not that long ago, this episode has a lot of weight, and that's all I'll say because I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, that's pretty much
the most I could say without spoiling anything. It has a little less weight just because I know where the story is going, and I've seen this episode multiple times. That being said, like in reviewing this as a series, it's just still such a crazy thing for a TV show to do. And it's easy to just go, well, yeah, it's supernatural, but no, this is crazy for a show.
It's crazy
to do
for
this.
A show to do 3/4 of the way through a 4th season.
Yes,
like it's not like the show was always like, and it's super meta, or like.
But what's crazy is
like this season is the meta season or something like that. It's like we are 3/4 of the way through the 4th season, and the show's like, and one more thing.
And then you're like, that's crazy. This is there are more than 10 seasons more of this. And this is just one of many
This
things.
is just the start of that kind of journey.
Yes, which is fucking crazy.
Yes.
But also, like, I've never seen a show have a dialogue with its audience. Like, the closest I can even think of is Lost, and it's not anything like this.
This was the moment where I was like, oh, this is comic books.
Yes, this is...
Which is maybe why that comic book thing was possibly a thing in the, beginning.
They're drawing a lot of things that are from comic books, and this is sort of
comics talk to their audience all the time. Where it's like they make some sort of wink about like, we know you didn't like that costume.
It's a real fucking Grant Morrison move. This episode, right? To 100%. Put yourself in the book. I mean, it's a thing that I'd never seen in a TV show before, and it's a thing that like I think is easy to forget about how incredible Supernatural is for this type of thing, right? Like this was never promised in the pitch of the show. Like none of this is expected. It's nobody dies in this episode. True. There's no haunting. True. Like there is as we saw that in the promo, the most they could do with it was the fact that Lilith shows up for a couple minutes. Yeah. Like this whole thing is basically just exposition and discussion and
like kind of rumination on like the metaphysics of their lives.
It's a clip show almost, like without actually showing anything. Like it's bonkers how like interesting it is and what
it's like ontology. It's like the nature of being. It's
except for and the fact that they're not doing backflips to make it work. It's like, what's a prophet? Of course there's prophets, and it's like it's it's so
we've
perfectly
established
fits.
so much other biblical stuff.
Yes.
That 100% makes sense. But then when you
You put it in the context
but the fact
of a
that the
TV
show
show.
doesn't just stop with "and God said this," they go like, "What are the ramifications of a prophet existing?" And you go like, "Oh fuck!" It's like, "Oh shit!" Like it takes prophets are writers or storytellers or this stuff we were
and
talking
the
about.
writers of this thing are kind of like prophets of this story.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it draws a line that they never let go of, which is crazy.
wild.
I fucking love this episode.
100%.
It's for me, it's 5 slashes out of a possible 5.
Yeah. Gross. Yeah. Is there any like Richard slashery?
And could you send it so that I can be disgusted?
Yeah, I would
by-
hate that. I mean, yeah. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
This episode does so much wild, dangerous, kind of like backflippy
Stuff that, like,
stuff.
a show that I would never recommend a TV show to do.
Certainly not a show like this.
Yes.
Like
It's like if fucking Scooby-Doo did that. Like,
they make the joke about Dr. Sexy, but like, listen, Supernatural has always been different than what people perceived it as.
Yeah.
Of course, we've talked about that a ton.
so is Grey's Anatomy.
But it was still essentially pretty straightforward.
Monster of
There's
the
monsters or angels and demons. These guys are so good looking. Dean likes boobs.
Yes.
Like, it's like that kind of show.
Yeah.
And then 3/4 of the way through its fourth season, it goes, but also philosophy.
Yes.
The nature of existence. you know,
Yes.
like it throws such an insane monkey wrench in at such like a weird point and then keeps it. It would be so easy for them to do a wild episode like this and then we never think about it again. But the fact that we have that scene with Zachariah and Chucky, you're like, oh, this is part of it?
But also,
Like,
the books don't get dropped.
no,
Like,
even that piece.
even the fan base and the like narrative of there is a book series out
Yes.
there called Supernatural that is about the show. This is just the beginning we're going to hear about.
It's wild. And that stuff is so good and so adventurous and
Yes.
so entertaining
Yeah.
and so satisfying that I 100%, while acknowledging it, just blow by the weird Lilith stuff.
This is when I become a
The
super
Lilith
fan.
stuff is like, whatever,
Whatever.
fine. They fucked it up, but they painted themselves into a weird corner anyway. But like, this was the moment where I was like, oh, this is comic books.
Yes.
I already knew I liked this show, and now I think I'm seeing the payoff of the type of people
Yes.
that would write the more conventional version of this show.
This is where I become a super fan of the show.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm like, well, now you have me forever.
Which is so funny because it like fucking so many years of trying to explain that to you for this show.
Yeah.
To watch you finally get to this, I was just like,
You probably remember when I
Yes,
hit
yes.
this episode, and then I was like,
holy
oh
shit.
my God. Yeah.
Because I just like waiting for you to get to, because I'm like, this is when he gets locked in forever.
This is yeah, I mean, normally we deduct points when there's like weird hiccups that
I don't
break
give
the
a
moments
shit.
of the show, but I
don't care.
in this episode, I'm like, no, this is. I'm giving this. Oh, what am I going to give this? I'm going to give this. I'm going to give this 5 intercessions.
Oh, yeah. Fucking feed the
Allow
seed.
me to intercede 5 times.
Yeah, oh, my God.
Yeah.
I
I need like 20 minutes between each time.
I've been praying for this.
Yep.
That's just the facts.
You had me. Yeah.
Those are our reviews for this episode. Holy shit. And before we go, we've got a note from a fellow hunter.
Whoa.
Look, we've had a lot of notes. Oh, we've had a lot of fun over those last few years.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of conversation, and even in this episode, about Demon Blood. And you think, how could we possibly get another note from a hunter about Demon Blood?
Right.
But you'd be fucking an idiot if you thought we weren't going to have another one.
Oh my God.
So, let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's have it.
Hey guys, love your podcast. It's so much better than the Gabriel and Chuck show on Spotify.
Whoa.
Oh, shots fired. We
Also-
got here first.
Also spoilers.
yeah. What? What? The Gabriel and Chuck show?
Oh, the Who and Chuck show?
Oh, whatever. Who knows who is who? I love your lore section. It's forgettable. The international title section.
# Lore Horror Army.
Oh, I don't. Fuck the. I don't. The international title section is good, but the lore is better.
Fuck yeah. Woo!
Oh, fuck you. I would rate the title section as a Sam and the lore as a Dean.
Oh, yeah.
So, they go on to say, anyway, I'm an accountant, not a doctor. Not a doctor.
Not a doctor.
But it seems that you are looking at the effect of the ingested demon blood all wrong. When you ingest something and it gets into your blood, it doesn't stay in the blood. It would get into all the other organs in the same way that nutrients or oxygen would. When you ingest poison, it goes through the bloodstream and it gets into your organs and it attacks. Transfusing clean blood wouldn't be an antidote for poison. If Yellow Eyes had transfused blood with Sam, then transfusing the bad blood out might work, but since it went in as a nutrient, it's now throughout his system.
Right. It's not just that Sam has demon blood.
Yes.
It's that he's consuming it and it's affecting him.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, it's a nutrient. Yeah. Wow.
Please let me know if you disagree. Man, I'm such a nerd. Anyways, love your podcast.
Yeah.
On another topic, where's a good starting point for Dr. DC?
Oh, episode 80.
Yeah, that seems like a great way to start.
Episode 80.
Or anywhere after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
No specific episode, but just after that.
Yeah, I would say.
I'd say in the 200s. On another topic, thanks for something interesting to listen while I work. Keep it up. Carry on, David.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I want to throw a question back out and just keep this conversation going. So
can you do my taxes?
We asked at first, could you transfuse all of the blood?
Yes.
So now my question is, can you transplant all of the organs?
Can you transplant all of you?
I mean, and I know the answer coming back is like, we can barely transplant one organ. There's such a long wait list.
Yes.
But theoretically, how many things could you like attack or fix in one opening of a person?
What if all of me transplants all of you?
Yeah, John, the song's good, but we kind of want maybe we have some notes on the lyrics.
Could we lose transplants and change it to love?
But then people won't know about the demon blood.
Yeah. We really need to get up to the demon blood, but it's a concept album.
Blood of me.
He's a really big Supernatural fan. Not many people knew that.
That would be amazing.
All right. Well, that is the end of this episode. If you want to have the conversation offline or in a different place, we've got a Discord where you can do that.
Yeah. If you go to patreon.com/ghostfacers, it's only $1 and you can join Angel Radio. It's our fun Discord server. There's all sorts of like people have their favorite episodes.
Yeah.
It's just a fun way to chat and get in touch with us
or just
stuff
share memes and
share memes. Just be dumb and have friends online is kind of like a fun thing to do.
And we all love Supernatural, and it's a safe space.
Yeah, baby.
For Wincest.
No.
It's a safe space for Wincest.
No.
Share all of your stories.
Good Lord.
Or
don't advertise it like that.
Or hold on, I'll get there.
Are you trying to come up with one for us?
Van Eden.
Whoa. I was just going to...
Edanye.
Well, but we don't really say our last names a bunch on the show. I was thinking Richard. Richard, yeah. Something like that.
God, it just sounds so good together.
Yeah, I think that's how you know whether or not a ship is a good idea, is if phonetically it works.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
We could never be. Oh. It's clunky to say.
It's okay. I like it as more of a torrid affair than a commitment.
Yeah, and that's why it's definitely a torrid affair when we do 327 episodes of a podcast.
Yeah, it's only once a week. Well, if you also want, if you don't want to join our Patreon, that's all right, because we also have an email.
Yeah, ghostfacerspodcast@gmail.com.
We're also on all the social medias.
At GhostfacersPod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And don't forget to subscribe every single week. The episode will... Hold on.
Did you not write this down?
I did, but I went off book.
You're not off book. You're not off book. You're off script. You're not off book, clearly.
I went off book, Jerry.
I went off book.
Jesus Christ. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so that our episodes get into your feed every single week. Nailed it. While you're...
Let me into your feed, Dave.
Yeah, I'm going to feed you every week.
Yeah, feed me into your let.
Nailed it.
Got it.
While you're on those platforms, why don't you give us a 5-star review and we will read it on the show like we did at the beginning of this one.
Please, gimme.
Yes, we also have, for all my lore whores out there, we've got merch.
That's right. GhostfacersPodcastStore.com.
That's right. And we talked about it already a couple times here, but we have a whole other podcast.
Yeah, Dr. DC Podcast. If you like how we talk about monsters and supernatural and stuff over here, you will like how we talk about comic books and superheroes and like the Justice League and stuff like that over there.
But also, what a better episode to promote Dr. DC, because if you like the concepts that are in this, like this is all just taken from comic books.
This is 100% comic book stuff. We talk about this kind of like meta text stuff all the time. And you don't need to know anything about comics. It's just meant to be a fun time over there. So yeah, go check it out.
Yeah, unless you like really don't know, then like the gate's closed.
Yeah, we're gonna keep that gate.
All are welcome. The whole point of the show is to let everybody in, unless
we only let the right ones in.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna make let the right one in joke work somewhere.
Yeah, is this the American version of it or the original?
Oh, the original.
Yeah. I want the American version because yuck, international.
Good lord. I only watch dubbed films. Subtitled? Ugh.
Say goodbye, bitch.
Jerk.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.